Yeah.
This right now is what the playoff picture looks like. In the AFC, you have the Dolphins at the 1 seed. Wow.
Dolphins are the 1 seed. I was surprised too.
That's
Uh,
that is odd. You get the Ravens at the 2 seed, Chiefs at the 3, Jags at the 4, Steelers at 5, Browns at 6, and the Colts at 7. Interesting to note, at the current moment in time, 4 of these 7 teams are starting backup quarterbacks this week, which is insane to think about.
Up with the NFL.
hmm
Everybody's getting hurt.
So, as it would stand right now, because there are 7 teams, the Dolphins would have to bye, the Ravens would play the Colts, the Chiefs would play the Browns, and the Jags would play the Steelers. But I don't think this is what we think is going to happen. Actually, we all took time to make what our own playoff picture would look like. This is mine upcoming in the AFC. I have the Chiefs at the 1 seed, the Dolphins at the 2, the Ravens at the 3, Jags at 4, Browns at 5, Texans at 6, and the Broncos at 7. A lot of this has to do with the remaining schedule. All right, the Chiefs, pretty easy remaining schedule coming down. They got a big one against the Bills this weekend, but um, apart from that, they have a relatively easy remaining strength of schedule. They're 8-4. Patrick Mahomes always puts it together at the end of the year. Andy Reid is too good of a coach. I think they're going to do it. The Dolphins also have a relatively easy schedule coming down the stretch. The Ravens, I think, drop a couple spots because they actually have a couple difficult games coming up in a row. I think they may win some, may lose some. They're one of those teams that they're pretty good, but they just have given up so many fourth quarter leads that it's hard to be reliable on them, especially coming down the stretch. Then you have the Jaguars at the 4 seed. I think I did have the Texans there, but
Mhm.
Jason convinced me
Mhm.
to switch it after really digging into the schedules. Doesn't make much sense, even with Trevor Lawrence out potentially for the next couple weeks. I think the Browns turn it around. We have of the next 5 games, we have the Jags, Bears, Texans, Jets, and the Bengals. 3 of those should be easy wins. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play this weekend, not an easy win, but definitely a doable game. I think we could go 4-1, finish 11-6, and really make a push coming down the stretch, get that 5 seed, turn around, have to play Jacksonville again in the playoffs. The Texans are too hot, dude. CJ Stroud is doing fantastic. A bad week for him was like last week where he threw only 1 touchdown, 0 picks, had a 105 passer rating, and threw for 300 yards. So it's pretty incredible what he's doing. And then the Broncos have a relatively easy rest of the schedule. They're 6-6, and they have a couple key wins against other teams that would propel them into that 7th spot. So this is what my AFC picture looks like. These are the reasons my AFC picture looks that way. And up next, we got Jason, who will tell you who and why his picks are the way they are.
All right, I have the Chiefs number 1, the Jags number 2, the Dolphins number 3, the Ravens number 4, the Texans number 5, the Browns number 6, and then the Bengals number 7. I
Bengals? Huh?
The
Huh?
Bengals. Listen, I'll do it in
Jake
reverse.
Browning in the
Since the most
playoffs?
controversial is at the end, let's do it in reverse. So number 7, I picked the Bengals because they have a pretty easy schedule coming up, and recency bias, but I think Jake Browning's the goat.
Greatest of all time, folks. Jake Browning heard it here first.
Greatest high school quarterback of all time
Listen,
in the NFL playoffs.
if Jake Browning can even play about half as well as he did for the rest of the games, they're going to win most of their games coming out, even half as good as he did. If you get a little bit more than that, easy breezy cover girl, you know. They're coming out and winning these games. Um, Sixth for the Browns. Browns again, I think have the best defense, and defense wins championships. So that defense is going to carry them to the playoffs. They're going to get a couple wins, but not next week though. Or this upcoming week. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Then the
probably not
Texans.
next week, but this week for sure.
No, 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 not on Sunday. You're not winning. All right. The Texans, we have again, like Brian was saying, the hottest team right now. CJ Stroud's looking amazing. They don't have a hard schedule as well. They're going to pull out, but they ain't going to pull out enough games to pass the Jags for that number 1 spot in the division. Let's go AFC South champs. All right. Number 4, we have the Ravens. The Ravens drop down from because again, like Ryan was saying, they have a couple hard games coming up. I think the Dolphins, Jags, and Chiefs all have easier schedules, and unfortunately, they're probably going to lose one of the games. They probably beat us in 2 weeks without Trevor Lawrence if he doesn't play. But they have some other tough games. The Dolphins probably the hottest team right now in the NFL, other than the 49ers. I think they come out and take a good, again, nice easy schedule. I think they have one tough game against. I'm gonna mess that up.
Who's this? The Dolphins?
The Dolphins.
They have
Dolphins have the Bills. The Dolphins have the that's pretty much it. Oh, Cowboys. Cowboys and
Cowboys.
Ravens.
Oh,
Cowboys, Ravens, or Bills to finish the.
Yeah. So this is why I put the
thought they already
Jags
played
above
the
the
Ravens
Dolphins.
this year.
Mm.
Go ahead,
This is
sorry.
why I put the Jags above the Dolphins because of those few tough games. I do think they're going to sneak some of those wins out because again the Tyreek Hill Tua combination right now is just looking unstoppable. But that being said, our number 2 team passes them because easy schedule. I mean, the last 3 games should be cakewalks. I'm hoping to pull out a victory this week against the Browns. I know we're going to pull the victory out this week. The Ravens probably the loss, so we go 4-1. I think that ends up with a better schedule than the Dolphins. Chiefs, easy schedule probably out of every team that we just announced, and they have Patrick Mahomes. So they'll see.
Does the Browns winning this weekend change the Jaguars' seeding? If
They
the Browns
could.
win?
I would probably put them at 3
Okay.
above. I would probably put them at 3. Dolphins jump them.
Fair.
Maybe no, that would probably hurt the Ravens. I don't know. Well, they would get jumped. It might drop them to 4, but 3. We're gonna say 3.
But you're saying 4-1 coming down the stretch.
All right, let's also not forget, before we even got started here, Jason was contemplating putting the Jags in the 1 seed without Trevor Lawrence. So
No, pause. I said we could possibly make it to the 1 seed. We
Come
could
on, dog.
possibly make it to the 1
y'all
seed.
just lost to a
Look,
high school quarterback.
Oh me.
at least my team is in that picture.
Fair enough. Fair
All right.
enough.
I-
And that's a great segue because I know that the team you're referring to is in this guy's playoff picture. So this right here is Jerry's AFC playoff picture. Jerry, tell us what you see.
All right, first of all, don't be talking smack about my team, dog. We're getting that 6 seed because we got the tiebreaker over the Browns. I think they both finish at 10-7. I think that's pretty set in stone. I think the Texans will also finish at 10-7, but they have the tiebreaker over both the Broncos, and if they beat the Browns, they'll have it over the Browns, which I think they will, because CJ Stroud is just balling out, man. I'm telling you, MVP. Not because I have a future on him, though. And then, of course, the Jaguars at the 4 seed. If Trevor Lawrence is out for too long, there's just they might even lose that divisional spot or the divisional champ spot. If he is out for an extended period of time, I'm talking the next 3 weeks, it's in jeopardy. The Dolphins have a tough schedule coming up, and they have struggled a little bit against tough teams. And especially if they got to play the Ravens, who the Ravens have absolutely dominated very good teams. They came in, absolutely destroyed the Seahawks. I think the Ravens are going to take the 1 seed. I think we're kind of forgetting because they didn't play this weekend how good the Ravens are and how good they have been this season. A lot of people had them in their number 1 power rankings, a couple weeks ago. Then they had that game against the Chargers on Sunday night and kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Still got the dub.
Whoa! That's not why they lost their number 1 power ranking spot, buddy. We all know who they lost to that took them from the number 1 power ranking spot to like number 4, and that's the Cleveland Browns.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, they're still gonna get the 1 seed. Then you got the Chiefs at 2 because the Chiefs just have not looked strong enough to get that 1 seed. Yeah, and they're sitting at 8-4. They're a game behind both the Ravens and the Dolphins, so I just don't see them I just don't see them making a push. I honestly don't think the Chiefs are. They're not the Super Bowl team that they were last year. They've lost a couple of key pieces. Their wide receivers suck, man. They cannot catch the ball. And a lot of defenses have figured out if you can shut down Travis Kelce, you pretty much are putting it all on Patrick Mahomes because his receivers can't bail him out, which he will get his, and he'll make plays here and there. But if Travis Kelce isn't in the game, then they're pretty stagnant on offense, and it's happy for me to see.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. Now, do the Broncos do they have to get to 10 wins to make it in? Is that your?
I think that's the threshold for the 7th seed. I think all 3 wildcard teams are going to be 10 wins, maybe 11, honestly, with the Texans. But I think that is the threshold for the 7th seed in the AFC.
So the Broncos have to win 4 of their next 5.
Yep. Which is it's doable. Their schedule's not that tough.
Now you got Chargers, Lions, Patriots, Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah.
The problem is you got to win. You got to most likely the Lions is the game because in Detroit. That's the game that you probably drop. So you have to go 3-0 in divisional games in the next 5 weeks. So that's the hard part, but it's doable. It's definitely doable.
It's there.
I
gotta hold out hope, man. I gotta hold out hope.
Absolutely, you do. Absolutely. So these have been all of our AFC playoff picks. Let's take a look at what the current NFC structure looks like. Right now we have the Eagles at 1, the 49ers at 2, the Lions at 3, Falcons 6-6, still getting a home playoff game. Crazy. Cowboys at 5, Vikings at 6, and the Packers at 7. So this would mean that the 49ers would play the Packers, the Lions would play the Vikings, and the Falcons would play the Cowboys with the Eagles on a bye. Let's take a look at what the real NFC playoff picture is going to look like coming down the stretch. We'll start with mine. At number 1, the 49ers. The reason they're number 1, they just absolutely smoked the Eagles. And I do think the Eagles at least lose one more game, put them even. And I think the 49ers with that tiebreaker, they take the 1. I think the 49ers maybe only lose one more game this season, max. The Lions at 3, Eagles at 2, simply for that exact reason. The Lions at 3, they've been playing very well. They know how to win close. The problem is when they get big leads, they let teams kind of sneak their way back in. But at this moment in time, I don't see why they wouldn't be that 3 seed because there's no way someone from the NFC South is going to take that 3 spot from them. The Buccaneers, I think, actually end up winning the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons right now hold that spot, but they play this weekend. Winner will take the driving seat in the division. The Buccaneers don't have a ton of great teams left on the schedule. One of them, again, includes the Panthers again, which you can automatically chalk that up as a W. Cowboys at 5. I just don't think they'll be able to pass the Eagles to take the divisional spot, but they're one of the top 5-6 teams in the NFL right now. They're fantastic. And then the kind of two teams are sliding into that spot are the Packers and the Rams. The Packers remaining schedule relatively easy, and in the last 3 games, Jordan Love has been absolutely dicing up defenses. He's thrown 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 116 passer rating over the last 3 weeks, and his weapons are starting to actually look like real wide receivers finally. So the Packers seem to be catching their stride. I wouldn't be surprised if they win 4 or 5 games, 3, 4, 5 games coming down the stretch, and make it into that 6th seed. And then the Rams, I think they showed this weekend that Matt Stafford is not, washed up. Aaron Donald is not washed up. They got the best rookie receiver who's only 440 yards away from passing the all-time rookie receiving record. So I really think that the Rams are another one of those teams that are kind of like on this trajectory. The teams that I think that the Vikings right now have it, but I think they're kind of on the reverse side. They're on the downward slope. I think these 2 teams kind of slide into that spot.
What about the Seahawks?
The Seahawks also, I mean, they've lost 2 of the last 3 games. So I just don't see them being able to recover, especially with 2 losses to the Rams. So the Rams automatically in over them. They would have to have a better record than them. And the Rams have an easier schedule coming down the stretch. But this is what my NFC playoff picture looks like. I mean, it's probably going to happen this way, but others may disagree. We'll take a look next at Jason's. Jason, what do you think is that NFC going to look like?
Hi, I am others. So, I think the Eagles and the 49ers are going to have the same record for the rest of the games coming out. I just think both teams are going to probably get one more loss. So I think just record-wise, Eagles are going to be able to sneak that number one spot. 49ers, I for the longest have had the Eagles as AFC or NFC champions. I think the 49ers are now the favorite by far. It's not even close. So that's why they get the second spot. If they had one, if they end up with the same record, obviously the 49ers are going to have the tiebreaker. But even if the tiebreaker didn't exist, I would choose the 49ers over the Eagles. But that being said, one more loss. For the Lions, I think the Lions kind of are on my suspect list. In my opinion, I don't think they played the best games the last 3 weeks. That being said, I just think they win enough games to. There's no one else that's going to take over their spot. The Falcons, I think the Falcons have a easier schedule than the Buccaneers, in my opinion. And honestly, we flex games. Can we flex conferences? Because no one in that conference deserves to make the playoffs. To be honest,
Yeah, treat them like Florida State. Get them out of there.
Honestly, get them out of there.
Back-to-back years where no one we don't know. They're 6-6 right now, but I could very much see that nobody in that division has a winning record yet. One of them has to make the playoffs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. But they are the lucky ones, in my opinion. The Cowboys probably the fourth best team in the division, maybe even the third, in my opinion. That being said, I think they're just going to win enough games to make it. I mean, no one else, again, record-wise, I don't think is going to have a chance to pass them for that fifth spot. Packers, like you said, Jordan Love is playing amazing. I think he's going to carry them into the playoffs just off his play alone. Hopefully, maybe they get, I don't know how long Aaron Jones is out for, but maybe they get him back in time. The Seahawks, I don't think the Seahawks, I'm going to disagree. I think the Seahawks I think the Seahawks go over the Rams. I think they win more games towards the end of the season. I think their team is better than the Rams team. Now, that being said, you have the better offense probably.
They just lost twice to the Rams this year.
Chill. Just because, hey, look, some people are built to beat other people, all right? So some people are built to win other games. I don't think the Rams have been as consistent as the Seahawks have. Now, like you said, they have beat them twice. I just think the Seahawks are going to end up with more wins. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, it's a good story. It's not as good as mine because it's, not mine, but it's still a good story. We had most of the same teams, only the Falcons, Seahawks, couple different seeding things, but for the most part, pretty much the same. And that's kind of the difference between the NFC and the AFC. The AFC is all these teams that are kind of better than mediocre, all fighting for these spots. The NFC is like, we got about 4 teams that are good. Everyone else sucks. So you can guarantee the Eagles, Niners, Lions, and Cowboys are going to be in that second round pretty much right now. So, but those were Jason's NFC playoff picture. Jerry, what sort of differences do you have in yours?
Yeah, so Ryan, mine and yours were very similar. The only difference I have is that the Falcons win the division over the Bucks. I think the Falcons are putting something together. Arthur Smith is figuring out how to utilize his weapons that he has in Drake London and Bijan and Kyle Pitts.
Oh, I have 5 or 4 first-round draft picks.
Yeah,
on offense. Maybe I should
crazy. He had a quote earlier this year. Somebody asked him why he's not using Bijan Robinson as much, and he said that Bijan Robinson's ability to make plays away from the play without the ball is special. How about his ability to make plays with the ball? You spent a first-round pick on a decoy. What are you doing?
Decoy, dude. We're decoying Drake. We're decoying Kyle Pitts, we're decoying Bijan Robinson. Give that ball to Algier, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is a game of football. This isn't like basketball where you can have some fancy guy running in the back. No, this is football. Give your best player the ball and let him go. Like, come on now.
Yeah. But no, I think starting from the top, the 49ers, I think the 49ers do take that 1 seed. The Eagles, they got a couple of tough games coming up against the Cowboys and the Seahawks, but the rest of their schedule is pretty easy. 2 games against the Giants and then 1 against the Cardinals. I think they dropped the game to the Cowboys this week, and I think the 49ers end up winning out, and that's what gives the 49ers the 1 seed. The Lions, you guys already said it, kind of suspect. They put up 21 points in the first quarter this week against the Saints, and then broke a guy's leg on the chain gang, and then the Saints clawed back. So yeah, that was gross. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw that.
Nasty.
Watch with care. Already explained the Falcons getting the NFC South poop division title. Then the Cowboys would not be surprised if the Cowboys make a run for that division. If the Eagles falter in one of their last games, Cowboys win 1 game here against the Eagles. I know the Cowboys have a tough schedule, tougher than the Eagles, but if they can put some wins together, they're only 1 game back of the Eagles in the division right now. Anything can happen. It's the NFL. And then probably the worst take I've ever had, calling Jordan Love a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He's playing really well. He absolutely balled out against the Chiefs on Sunday night. They're sneaking into that 6 seed. Going to take out the Lions in the playoffs, maybe? Maybe?
Nah.
They did it once.
Yeah, but that's Thanksgiving.
They're cursed for Thanksgiving.
That is Thanksgiving, dog. Lions have won 1 game in the last 11 years.
Counterpoint, how many playoff games have they won in the last 11 years?
Counterpoint. The Packers don't have Aaron Rodgers, so you can't compare playoff records.
All right, we'll see what happens when we get there. And then the
Jared
Rams
Goff has more playoff wins than Jordan Love. So
All right. Well, we'll see about it. All right, the Rams, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. That's one heck of a duo over there in LA. They are. There's some good dudes over there. Matthew Stafford, he's playing like he was playing when he had Calvin Johnson on the team, man. He's slinging it. So we'll see what happens. I think it's gonna get interesting down the stretch. That 7 seed is wide open. But yeah, I think the top 5 teams are pretty much set this year in the NFC.
Hey, question.
answer.
Would you rather have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, or DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith-Njigba?
Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. You're talking
Yeah.
about the latest Triple Crown winner and likely the rookie receiving yards leaders against a guy with a terrible shuttle score.
Okay. Oh, here we go again.
A guy that didn't play his last year at OSU and Tyler Lockett. So, no, it's a good question. Both good receiving cores. I trust Matthew Stafford over Geno Smith. So,
Agreed,
Yeah,
agreed.
that's the deciding factor for me too.
but Jerry, I like your NFC playoff picture. It's almost correct, minus that 4th seed you got there. But other than that, I think pretty much perfect. But as you can see, guys, these are what the playoff picture might look like. Things may change. Who knows? Thanks for watching this video of the Unnamed Sports Show. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on social media at Unnamed Sports S. Also, be sure to join us live Wednesdays at 7 p.m.